Black Clover. This is Black Clover chapter 351 with the Shogun of the Land of the Sun. Took me a minute to read that because
Yeah,
the text feels like it like blends in too much with the background. I can read. um
I believe you.
anyway, last we left off, uh Asta had resolved to take on the five-headed dragon all by himself because he's that guy. And he does so. He starts like chopping it up here and there with his Zeton, but unfortunately, the more he cuts it up, it just continues to regenerate. Like anti magic can only take you so far against these things. Um, Meanwhile, the ice guy, the ice paladin dude, is facing off against Musho. I'm gonna call him Musho because he has a pretty long name. Musho Gatake is his full name. I'll try to call him Musho, but Musho Gatake.
Which special attack?
Uh, but yeah, he's fighting off against the ice guy. The ice guy isn't really putting up much of a fight against him because he is the strongest guy in the Ryuzen 7. And
Sure.
we actually get a little bit of a flashback explaining him and even the Shogun's origin. Turns out both these boys, the Shogun and Musho, were in line to rule the Kushu domain, and the Ryu, who is the Shogun currently, was the lord of the Goshu domain. Um, and they were friends since they were kids, and they would spar in friendly matches. But when they were both 17, a plague struck Koshu and Goshu, and people with weak Yoryoku died. So they were trying to figure out a way to find this legendary medicinal herb to save everyone, and the only way to do that is to acquire the Tengetsu, which is the all-seeing eye that Ryu has. Um, but the only thing is that in order to gain the Tengetsu, you will lose all of your yoku. It's hard to say yoryoku. Um,
Yo-yo.
uh,
Mayoku or yo-yo?
definitely not my yoku. Maybe it's your yoku.
Maybe it's your rain.
Not my anus. I'll tell you that. Anyway, so Moshu got shook. Musho got shook. He's like, "What? I have to give up all my magic in order to get this eye? Man, what's the point
In
then?
order to save people?
But then I won't be the strongest." But you know what? Ryu did not hesitate to give up his power, and he says, "If that'll do it, then take my Yoryoku." And Yeah, Musho is just like, "What is that guy doing? He's gonna lose his Yoryoku. He won't be able to be the Shogun." Um, but that happened, and he got the Tengetsu, and he was able to save everybody with the power that he'd gained. Um, Musho was mad at him for giving up his abilities, but he kept watching over him, and he realized that Ryu didn't change a bit. Even though he lost his power, he was still like a benevolent leader, nice guy, and a bunch of people gravitated towards that. And he got extremely popular. And when it came time to choose a shogun, they noted that he's got legendary popularity, and his achievements are magnificent, but his lack of magical power is not great. So maybe Mushogatake's Yoryoku is the best, and he should take over the shogun seat. But at that point, Musho said, "Ryu, you're the shogun, and I'm the seventh member of the Ryuzen." And we cut back to present time, and we find out that Musho's ability is iron magic, and he turns himself into this iron god of war statue. It's pretty fucking fire. Not gonna lie, that shit was so cool. um, and he basically
Ice is
tanks.
not very effective against steel.
Yeah, he tanks basically all of the ice that is being flung his direction, and he uses his Zeton to cut clean through the paladin guy, and he says, "Too bad, I'm the strongest." Uh, but yeah, the other members of the Ryuzen 7 are getting up slowly, and we can't abandon this fight. But then they hear a shout from all the way across, and you see that Ryu is there with that other guy who I guess has the healing magic of Wano, not Wano, of the Land of Sun, and
Yeah.
we see that Ryu is yelling at his other soldiers, is like, even if nobody knows, I've watched you this whole time. I've seen you fight, your feelings, all your hard work. There's just no way it's okay for you to fall here. Band together and take down that five-headed dragon. And they're all like, yes, sir. And yeah, all the guy, everybody is pumped up. The vibes are immaculate, and that's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about Black Clover chapter 351?
This was another chapter that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the backstory was interesting. I mean, I didn't care that much about these two, to be honest, but it was nice, I guess. They had there was a reason he had no magic at all. Well, Nyojutsu, and this was that. So I guess they talked about it, and how he ended up being the shogun. That's also why he has that kind of air of cockiness. Like he's nice with a sword. He
Mm-hmm.
knows he could fuck somebody up. But he's like, man, back in my day when I had some yo-yos, I would have, niggas like Asta would have got packed. That's how he was feeling.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna let my friend help you out because I can't really do it. I knew this ice guy was gonna get smoked. I knew it. I knew he
Obviously.
was gonna be insignificant. And how would you say fodder's fodder? You know,
Fodder's fodder. Wow.
like I used to say yeah, that's a man's man.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No, that's
he's fodder's fodder.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I'll say that.
I mean, is most of these villain characters in Black Clover,
Pretty fodder.
where that's the case? Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay though.
It was just he came back because he was somebody from the past. He came back just to die easily.
That's true.
They flex on, he got a whole backstory on him. That's a trope. He got the end of the backstory. Let me just wrap you up real quick because this was about was showing how cool I am.
Yeah.
You are literally just a canvas that I will paint my story on. You know?
Yeah. I would say that's accurate.
Most people would see in if you go to Black Clover page 14, most people would see the person he's cutting as an actual person. I see a canvas.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Were those all your thoughts?
Those were my thoughts, Chris.
Brian,
Sure were.
did you read it? What did you think about this? I know you're on your Black Clover stuff now.
He's on his LOL stuff.
Oh well. No, I'm back on Valorant again.
Whoa, betrayal.
This was a interesting chapter. Very Black Clovery.
Yeah, it was.
Very, very Black Clovery.
Let's yell from across the room.
Yes, sir.
Let's yell positive affirmations until you guys win a battle.
Just get up and win. All right.
Just Asta doing Asta things while the rest of the supporting cast exists until he's done.
If this kid with the power to cancel out any magic in this world and can do 500 push-ups can do it, then anybody can. Anybody.
You just have to wake up early enough and do enough push-ups.
You just have to get into that grind set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That grind set. Yeah, it was a fun chapter. Everybody's just stalling for Asta to go finish everybody's job essentially at this point. Once he takes care of that giant thing, everybody else is just it's open season for him.
Yeah.
Asta's so strong.
Nice. Well, this was my really good chapter of the week.
Certified RG.
Oh, wait. Before I do that, this is also the audience voted really good chapter of the week.
Oh,
Yo.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Yeah, I had a really good time reading this chapter. I really liked the backstory. I thought it was kind of cool. It really went a long way of improving Musho's status as more than just the cool guy, I guess. And him realizing what was important in life through watching Ryu, selflessly give up his abilities for the sake of other people, and realizing that that's what the real strength is. And I'll use my powers the best way I can, and you should be leading the people because A, the people like you, and B, you have their best interest at heart in a way that I couldn't.
Hey,
in that
I
moment.
just beat people up.
Yeah, that's my thing. And I'll serve the people that way. I will beat up who needs to be beat up.
Right.
So that was a cool moment.
State-sanctioned violence.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and plus his design as the Iron God of War is pretty sick. I loved it when he was just like, bah, this is cool. I do love all of the Yoryoku that we've seen. Whenever they all displayed their powers, that was pretty cool, especially the Earth guy. So this was no exception. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was very Black Clover at the end. How many times have we seen that part before, where it's just like encouraging words from across the nation, basically, and just yelling it at the top of your lungs. But it's those positive vibes that I appreciate Black Clover for. To be honest, it's an endlessly optimistic series,